Hey everyone, I hope everyone's doing well. Today I have another special package from Yeslack, which I think are two very interesting upgrades that you can get for your Tesla Model 3. Whether it's the standard range or long range and even the performance model. One thing that I found confusing about the Tesla, but at the same time, refreshing, is that there aren't any trim package options. So for example, with the BMWs that I owned in the past, I always liked the M Sports Pack. So I used to get I would say entry-level engines because I didn't really need that much power, and I would get the M Sports Pack. And yes, some people might think this is very racery or whatever, and it's, if the car's not fast, why do you make it look fast? But I like the way the car looks, right? And I don't think the Tesla Model 3 looks bad in any way, but I just think that in some ways, I think it would have been great if they allowed the standard range model users to upgrade certain things. Let's say pay a bit extra to get the Alcantara finish over here instead of having this fabric. I think this fabric looks significantly cheaper than the Alcantara. Also, the standard range model, if you didn't know already, comes with fewer speakers than the long range and the performance models. So that could have been a trim upgrade as well. And the thing that I think is the cheapest looking thing in this car are the pedals. And the long range and standard range have these rubber plastic looking pedals. The brake pedal is like rubbery finish, and the accelerator, this is the worst looking accelerator I've ever seen in any car, to be honest. I'm not even comparing the BMWs, I'm just saying any car. So I think if those could have been trim upgrades, like in the performance model you get the metal, and that's what I'm going to show you today with aftermarket parts. I think Tesla community has always been quite a big aftermarket modding community, where there's been various accessories, more accessories than usual, I would say, than other cars, and widely available as well. Lots of manufacturers, lots of retailers selling these aftermarket products, and a lot of them are very good quality, in some cases better than what comes with the car. So for example, this carbon fiber trim that I have on top here, which looks a bit like the performance model trim, that it looks super high quality and looks way better than what came with the car, this fabric finish trim over here. So today I'm going to be reviewing what's in this box that Yeslack sent me. Let's take a look. So they sent me two very interesting items, which I think could really improve the aesthetic and potentially performance of your car as well. Okay, so here's the packaging. It's got a really nice foam packaging. I don't know if you guys can see over here. Okay, so let's see what's in here. Ooh. Okay, so let me show you guys what they sent. So look what it is. It is the yoke for your Model 3. I asked them to send me the Alcantara version because it's got more grip than this regular pleather, and it looks quite similar to the yoke found in the Model S. And I thought it was quite a cool thing to have a yoke. It's very unique. Not many cars have a yoke, although I have complained before that the yoke design in the Tesla isn't really that good, because you still have to like rotate the wheel more than 180 degrees, given that it's not drive-by-wire, except the Cybertruck, which is not a yoke, it's a squircle, I think that's what it's called. Basically, this uses your original components of your Tesla steering wheel. Oh, I can't get over how nice this feels. Actually, this actually feels, if not the same, if not better than this Alcantara material here. I think the long range users will probably know what I'm talking about. But let's install this and we'll drive around and give it a spin and see what it's like to drive with the yoke in the new Tesla Model 3. The other thing I wanted to mention is that I think the yoke looks better in the new Model 3s because it's got the same layout in terms of the steering wheel buttons, the shape of the steering wheel as the Model S and the Model X. The Model 3 and the Model Y, the previous models, I think it looks a bit silly. That's just my opinion because it doesn't look OEM at all. This kind of looks OEM because they did release a yoke for the Model S and the Model S with the same center components. So that's just my opinion. You know, what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below, and whether you guys think having a yoke in a car is useful whatsoever, because obviously I don't think everyone likes it. Okay, so it came with, okay, this is just packaging, more packaging here. Here is the thing, I guess, to remove the steering wheel. It's like this ratchet tool, like it's not actually ratcheting. Let's take a look at this when I get a chance to open this. And then it comes with two other boxes in here. So this is just a protective material for the yoke, and this is the one box. One box comes with some tools, not any instruction manuals. So I think you guys just have to watch my video of my trial and error installing this thing. I'll make sure that it's secure and safe to drive around before I take any long road trips. I have seen other people install this, so I have a vague idea on how to install this. There's another box. What's inside this box? Oh, this is also what I was looking forward to. So this is the upgrade of the pedals. And look how much nicer this looks compared to what's there currently. I mean, it's literally night and day. This is so much more premium looking. I'll install it and then I'll show you guys what it looks like before and after. Here's the one for the accelerator pedal. Let me know what you guys think. Do you guys think I made a good choice going for these metal ones that have the rubber that looks like the OEM performance model? But I think I'm going to install the yoke first, and then we'll take it from there. So from my understanding, I need to poke inside this hole here behind the steering wheel to release the center part of the steering wheel. I'm assuming that it's from using this. Nope, that's too big. So it must be the smaller one. I don't think I need to squeeze both sides. It feels like I need to squeeze both sides. No, it's not that one. So it comes with this tool, and then these two tools are very similar, but this is T8 and this is T20. Okay, it's almost like a hex screw, but you know, with the thumb tab instead of another type of grip. And here's a screwdriver. This is a funny looking screwdriver. Weird. Oh, I think I can. Oh, okay, I can pop it out and change it to the other side. And it's ratcheted. Oh, interesting. Okay, so I can ratchet like different levels and how long I want the screwdriver to be. Okay. And then I'm not 100% sure what this plastic is for. Oops. And then I've got this hook thing. This doesn't go in the hole either, so I'm not sure what these are for, and I'm not sure how these two are gonna go in, because this doesn't go into this hole, neither does it go into this hole. So there's two holes on the side of the steering wheel, and what I've seen online is you squeeze both sides and this middle part just pops out. But the only thing that can fit in is this one side, and I'm not sure how I'm going to be able to squeeze on both sides. So let me try and push one side at a time. Okay, so you can pull out one side at a time, and that removes the center module. Just have to disconnect it quite carefully. So there's a few clips in here. So this is the module for your airbag. So make sure you disconnect it correctly. Oh, and also remember to turn off your car. So I'm just going to turn off my car now under safety. Go right down to the bottom, power off the car. Make sure the car is fully powered off. Okay, now it's moving me forward. That's fine. And then I'm just going to unplug this. So be really careful with this, because obviously you don't want to trigger anything or make it like no longer work in case you need your airbag in the future. Oh, there goes my car, comes back on again. It tends to do this, so I'm not sure what makes it fully stay off. So all I did was I pushed the one pin on one side, lifted it a bit and did it on the other side, and completely released the center part, and there was no problem at all. Okay, so I can release this pin, or I can just unplug this whole thing over here. Let me just unplug this whole thing, because it's probably more easier anyways. So there's this yellow connector in here that I can remove. Okay, wait, that's not coming out. Are these actually, are these on, it has to be that. These aren't connected, so this is yellow connector. So I guess I'm gonna have to use So I've finally figured out what this was for. This was actually for the clips, because this can hold open the clips like teeth, and you can pull it out like this. So I'm gonna try to do that now. I'll put this over here onto the yellow, and I jam it. Just hold this. Don't want to cover the view for you guys, but over there. Okay, so you jam this in there. Oops, I keep pressing. I'm pressing something now, and this thing is still coming on. Really doesn't want to miss out on this upgrade action. It's like basically surgery, right? And I want it to go to sleep under anesthetic, but it wants to get up and see what's going on. What anatomy part do you think a steering wheel is on a car relative to humans? I'm interested to hear you guys' thoughts, because it's not like we have a steering wheel, right? Or anything that requires us to steer anything. So okay, so I'll push that one up. So that didn't really work that well. Mine seems to be jammed on pretty tight, actually. So unlike the Model S and the Model X, the older models at least, the new ones, including the Model 3, the horn is actually in the center. So this houses the horn and the airbags. Actually, I'm not sure if this houses the airbag now that I think about it, because this is only 2 cables, and I doubt that this is for airbags and for horn. But I don't know. I haven't looked at the service manual, so I cannot be sure. Okay, that didn't come out that side, but so this part is actually kind of tricky, and I always struggle with this. And I'm also quite impatient, so I don't want to break these clips, because the last thing I want to do is have to order a new one from Tesla. That's going to cost me a fortune. So let me try it like this. So I'm going to hold it like this. This kind of just mounts here, no problem. It's getting a little bit of tension, but it's nothing too crazy actually. Okay, so I'm going to put this like this, and then we'll pull out with this. Oh, there you go. Yeah, that worked. So I would advise doing what I just did, pushing this in like this against the clips. You guys see? Okay, pushing this into the clips like this, and then using the screwdriver to pull it out. Cool. So I've gotten this. Okay, so I did keep stepping on the brakes inadvertently. Okay, so here's your horn and potentially airbag. It does say safety restraint system, so maybe that is the airbag as well. Okay, and then now I need to remove this whole thing. So what you want to do is you want to use this long tool over here to release this from the actual wheel from the body. So this looks like, okay, so I can either do it this way. Right, no, nothing is this way. This is the correct way. Or doesn't look, it actually looks like this is a bit too big. Looks like I actually need to remove the other clip as well before I proceed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do that now before I take out the steering wheel. So again, just to show you, turn off my car again. You put this in to there, and you tightly put that in, and you can use a screwdriver to wedge the clip out. So you can use a screwdriver to wedge just in front of it. You want to do that, and you want to wedge basically using this clip to hold down the clip holders. That didn't seem to work that well. Maybe on this side. So again, remember, if you're not comfortable doing this installation, you can always get someone that is more experienced, like someone at your local car shop, maybe someone in your local tire shop can also do it, or they can recommend someone. So if you haven't watched my previous video about my car, about my tires, and I had to do my tire rotations, which you should do after every 10,000 kilometers or 6,250 miles. Yeah, so you should be visiting a car shop every 10,000 kilometers. Yep, there you go, came out quite nicely this time. Okay, so make sure that all these pieces, this is disconnected as well. I'm gonna try not to step on the brake. I think I have like this instinct to step on the brake. So I'm trying to figure out this tool. So this tool seems to supposedly able to adjust it. I'm assuming this side is slightly, it looks like the side is more than this side, but it could be optical illusion. But I'm assuming that this side goes in there. This is 8.8. This tool that they've sent is 10 millimeter. It doesn't work. I might have to go to like the hardware store to pick up another one. Okay, wait. Okay, wait. That actually fits. So maybe I just need to force it. Oh wait. Why is it moving forward now? Oh, there you go. Okay, wait. I'm gonna have to watch a video quickly just to see which direction to turn, because I'm honestly struggling here. I don't want to break anything. Okay, it is counterclockwise. So this is much harder than it looks. It's not moving. Well, that's good to know that my steering wheel is not going to pop off or like this. A bit worried now because this tool here is not leveraged, and I won't be able to get it on as tight. I mean, I don't even know if I'm going to get it off, but like I won't be able to get back on as tight as this is on right now. So that's could be a problem. Okay, wait. Let me just check something quickly. Yeah, loosen is counterclockwise. Just have to check, do a sanity check to make sure I'm not crazy. I mean, I am definitely putting a lot of force because you can see that the steering wheel is turning. Unless I can do this without taking the steering, I can't, because this thing has to actually go on. Okay. Yeah, I've got it in. I definitely do not step on the accelerator this time. Sorry, on the brakes. I think this thing just really doesn't want to miss out on the action, to be honest. I'm gonna be honest, these included tools aren't great. Definitely not the best quality. Obviously not for you to keep forever, for you to complete this job. But problem now is I'm not completing the job. I'm getting close to completing it. So it is quite difficult. Okay. Oh man, I can't get it off. This is way too tight. Okay guys, I cannot get this out with this tool. I might need someone else to help me hold the steering wheel while I'm using both hands to pull it. So maybe that's what I need to do. I'm gonna put the steering wheel back together so that I can put the pedals on, and then I will do the yoke installation another time. So the reverse of this is to obviously just clip this back in. There's only one way it can go in, so don't worry about messing that up. Now that's connected, you can see that these buttons are lit up again. And then this one, there seems to be a bit of dust, you know, that's obviously crept in. A little bit scratched here, even though that wasn't me, definitely wasn't me. I'm getting the finishing on this, actually not too bad. I think some people have complained about the, okay, this is definitely the airbag, it says airbag. It's actually made by ZF, the German automotive company. It's pretty cool actually. So this, do the same thing, plug it in, and then the nice thing about this is that it just clips back in. Just need to turn off the car so it doesn't do that again. Did you guys hear the horn? Okay, so I would just advise you to either do this in a private place, or I'm just gonna press the notch on one side so it clips in, and you press it on the other side and then releases it and holds it back in. So there it is, your steering wheel back to normal. I didn't even manage to loosen it by one bit, so it's not like this thing is going to come loose. And also, just from a safety perspective, these wheels on both ends have this really deep grooves, if you can see over here, and it's the same on both wheels. So If it was a bit loose, what will happen is that the wheel will actually start coming off like this, but it won't come loose in terms of rotation. So if you're worried about that, you shouldn't be too worried. Cool. And then what I'm going to do now is I'm going to actually change these pedal covers. So it looks like that these are also covers, and it looks like you're able to just pull them off, like the brake one especially. So this one comes off like this. You just pull off the sides. It's literally a slip-on, just like the one it came with. See, now it's raw metal. Come on, guys. Tesla, you could have done better. This looks so cheap. I'm replacing it with this. So it's actually the same kind of thing. So on both sides, you can see that it's a rubber that grips onto this metal over here. So I'm putting this over here now. So for this one, what you want to do is you want to get the bottom first and just squeeze this rubber over the sides of this metal, basically. Definitely easier to come off than it is to go on, but pull the rubber back with your hands and then slide it over. Oh shit, that didn't work. Just want to give a disclaimer, guys. I am generally very bad with these DIYs, so if I'm able to do it, you're most likely able to do it. This cupboard, however, is gonna slip over the existing plastic. This is literally plastic. How cheap is this? My god. Okay, so this is gonna slip over like this as well. So the pull on this side. And there you go. Is that on? Let me just put it on properly. Okay, so I finally slipped it on, and you can see that the accelerator pedal the cover just goes straight over the existing. It's almost like it was waiting for an accessory. As you know, some of you know, Elon Musk actually says that he likes the accessory market. He didn't realize that it would be such a big thing. So basically, the original pedal doesn't need to come off. The accelerator pedal just slips over like a glove. What you want to do is you actually want to slide it from underneath up, because there's an opening on top, and then just get it in the grooves on both sides so it goes up and then gets lodged within. And this, you take off the previous one and you put on the new one. I must say the new one is also pretty grippy, just like the previous one. The previous one doesn't look good, but the whole thing's rubber, so it is pretty grippy. And one of the concerns that I would have had is that this one is slippery and you might be able to miss your braking. That's definitely not the case, because you know, this whole thing still is pretty good. Okay, so as you guys saw, that tool does not work, and I'm very busy tomorrow, so I am gonna head through to Leroy Merlin now to buy one with a longer handle and is longer and it'll fit into the nut, and I'm gonna be able to mechanical leverage to loosen it. I need to get this anyways, because when I tighten it, I need to make sure that it's tight as well. The one that was included, to be honest, I can't really fault YesLack too much, because a lot of those tools in there are complementary tools. Most of them are very standard. So like if you have a multi-function screwdriver tool, you have all those heads that you need. They do include an installation video on the product page, so look in the link in the description below, and you can see that in the video they don't even use those tools. So they're obviously just including them for your convenience in case you need some of them. But that long thing, that thing to remove the steering wheel, I don't know what it's called, it definitely doesn't work. So unless you're extremely strong, as you can see, I'm not like super strong, pretty strong, but not strong enough, it's not gonna work. And I'm gonna get one that has, you know, it has a bit more mechanical advantage. Okay, it is now the next day, and as you can see, I had put back my steering wheel so that I could drive to the hardware store yesterday. And unfortunately, they did not have a socket wrench, the specific one that I wanted. That was an hexagon. But they did give me a cool solution, which I will show you guys what I'm going to do now. Basically, I'm going to be using a pole that would attach the end of the tool. Sorry, let me just get this from the back. My camera is actually in the way now. So I showed the guys at Leroy Merlin, the hardware store, this wrench, and he said, why don't you use this side because it's much longer, which I tried a lot yesterday, but as I said, I didn't have as much mechanical advantage because it's so short. So I got a pole that goes towards the end here. Only thing is I need to have my car open, my car door open, to be able to access that. But let me just remove the steering wheel again. So this time, I've done this so many times now, it's actually going to be very straightforward. As you can see that I've got the new pedals. They actually look very nice, very smart. Looks much better than the stock ones. I mean, the stock ones look like shit. Okay, so what you want to do is, I'm going to put this socket wrench back in here. So it is a 10mm, which is correct. And I'm just going to angle it so that I can get the pole over it. And I'll show you the pole just now. Okay, that's in. Pole is this long pole. And actually, this was a pretty cheap solution because this pole was only, I think, €5. I think. So you can see this is just a long pole that has a cavity that goes over this thing. Just gonna open the door. Open the window as well. Basically, I'm gonna put this over here. Now I'm gonna have enough mechanical advantage. Well, it's still very tight. Oh, it's so tight. What the hell? Still can't get it off. Oh man, what a fail. So I don't know if this is a mechanical advantage problem or if it's a just not strong enough problem. Okay, there you go. Finally came out. Wow, that was extremely tight. So this pole definitely did work. But you guys heard a loud click. That was when the thing loosened. And now it's actually quite nice that this thing is loose because you can just do that. So I highly recommend getting a pole. To be honest, I don't even know if the pole was necessary. It was actually just extremely tight. Okay, so it looks like they actually, is that rust or is it some kind of glue to make it tight? Okay, so this is the nut. Keep it, don't lose it. Otherwise you can't put your steering wheel back. And basically, now I can see that now that it's out, you can show me it's out slowly and it comes off quite easily. This part, this is the steering wheel. This part is a little bit more complicated. I don't recommend doing it in your car, but I'm obviously demonstrating for you guys, so I don't mind doing it here. But basically, one thing that's very interesting about the steering wheel is that on all cars that I've had before, the steering stitching was inside the rim. So when you put your hand on the outside, you won't feel the stitching. But this one, they have the stitching on the outside. But fortunately for me, I drive with 3 and 9 o'clock. So basically my hands are always on the sides, just like a sports car, which is perfect for me on the yoke because obviously I'll just have it on both sides. I don't really use the top rim. What's interesting is that when you have it on like this, so this helps you align it, there's actually a notch over there, so you can see that you can't really misalign it on the small teeth. And basically, the dashboard's very open and clear. As you know, as a passenger, you don't really have much obstructing you, but this part is the only obstruction that you have on the steering wheel. It's quite interesting because normally they have this opening so they can see through to a display, and obviously there's no display here. But Tesla obviously went one step further and actually created a yoke which has nothing on top at all. So that's what we're actually going to install now. Now you can see that this, do not remove this. This needs to stay where it is. This line has to be in line with that. Don't actually touch it, just leave that as is. I'm going to move my tool out of the way. And the next step is to remove all these pieces. So you want to remove those 4 screws. You can see, I'll move you guys down over here. Remove those 4 pieces. You can use this torque screw. It is a torque screw, right? I think. Yep. Remove all 4 of these. Remove these 4. So what's happening is you're going to be removing this from the housing of the wheel and using the original buttons, so it's completely compatible, as well as the horn and the airbag. So you're not replacing any of that. So you shouldn't have any compatibility issues. The only thing that is on the yoke itself is obviously just metal, and I think it's also got the heating elements for the heated steering wheel. We'll test that as well, because obviously if you like your heating in your steering wheel, especially if you live in a very cold place, you do not actually want to lose that heating ability. Obviously, if you have your own tools, it's probably better. These tools are not really like that nice, but I mean, they are included for our convenience anyways. So I've loosened this. I think this piece comes off the back, but as you can see, it's grounded to this metal piece. Let me just take off the back piece as well. So for this one, you use the smaller torque screw. This is the thumb torque screw, I guess. Lucky I didn't need any more mechanical advantage there. I didn't need to use a pole to remove that one. I actually think that it was quite tight because it was actually glued. That was actually probably the main reason, not so much that I wasn't strong enough. I mean, clearly I wasn't strong enough to remove the glue, remove the screw from the glue. So maybe I could have gotten without mechanical advantage, because clearly that didn't seem to be the issue. The wheel was, moving the other way when I was pulling, and this time I actually had to push on the steering wheel the other way so that it doesn't move to get the nut out. The other thing to note is, what's nice about getting another steering wheel is that apparently this pleather material on these steering wheels wear quite badly over time. If you look at some of the old Tesla photos, I don't know if they've improved on these models. I've seen Model S's where the yoke also comes apart, and I'm assuming it's like similar material and finish to this. So in a way you can, I guess, preserve your original parts by putting them away in your garage and making sure that they stay brand new. And there's this plastic piece here at the back behind the steering wheel. Let me show you. Make sure you use the flat part of the screwdriver that's included. So this plastic piece here, you want to wedge it out with the steering wheel. There's also some screws down there as well. Be very careful. Don't use that with this plastic pry tool that I got with all the other accessories that I've gotten to review. Actually, can I get it under there? I'm not sure. No, this thing's too thick. Doesn't seem very hard, but I still want to scratch it. So I'm going to lift it up very gently. Got my old South African driver's license. This one actually went through nicely. And as you can see, that when you take that off, there's this piece of plastic. Do not lose it as well. Put it together with everything else. And then you want to use the even smaller wrench, the one that I use to push out the buttons to release the airbag, and remove these 4 screws as well. Yeah, I highly advise using proper tools. I've actually got a screwdriver set at home, but I didn't bring it, so I'm just going to use these for now. I would advise you use the proper tools, because what you want to do is you want to make sure that when you reinstall everything that it is tight, and I'm confident that these things can tighten things properly. I was watching other people installing yokes as well to get some ideas, and they also had the same problem. The car just likes coming back on. Wants to observe what type of surgery you're performing on it. I wonder if the camera's on now and watching me do this, the cabin camera. So another question that is often asked, and since I posted yesterday on Instagram the shot of me trying to remove the steering wheel. Oh shit, I think I might have that thing's stripping. Okay, so this is just for this plastic decorative piece, but I don't want that to come out. I'm trying the screwdriver. Where's the screwdriver now? Common question people ask is that if this voids your warranty. So from what I understand, how the warranty works is that each piece and part of the car has warranty, and this doesn't void the warranty on the whole car. What it would do is it would void anything connected to it. So like I would be taking out the buttons and then placing in the yoke. They could argue that that's affected the buttons or whatever, and if there's something goes wrong with the buttons, then they can argue that they don't want to pay for that. But it won't void the warranty on your batteries, for example. So that's obviously the most important part of the Tesla and the most expensive part of the Tesla as well. So you obviously don't want to be messing around with that. Okay, so this piece is loose. I just want to see. And there's more screws back here to attach this on. Removing all these screws. You basically want to remove the whole housing and you're just left with the metal steering wheel rim, just like how the yoke comes. I have seen other yokes that you can buy that has all the parts already integrated. Obviously you're paying a lot more because you basically get a whole another set of buttons, etc. So this is just a little bit of your time to get a whole new steering wheel. Okay, so I'm back, and this time I got the correct screwdriver set. So this is a screwdriver set that I got from IKEA. No, they're not sponsoring me. I hope they could sponsor me in the future because IKEA has some really awesome products. I just need to turn this off again. And basically, I think the screw that we want in question is one of these, I think these are called Torx, right? I'm not sure. But anyways, I'm gonna bring the steering wheel back here. Nope, go sleep, go sleep. You just need to test the sizes. It's a bit too small, one size up. There's this 20 T8H. Yeah, this is actually perfect, feels like it's solid. Okay, put this in here. Yep, it's working. So it seems like that tool that was included, even though it's really useful to have, it wasn't very good quality. So like I said, you know, these are very standard tools that most people should have already. I mean, I have this that could have opened every single thing in the steering wheel. The only thing that was missing was actually that bar, which I had to get a hole for. So this is that beautiful centerpiece. I'm gonna put that over here, and the only things I need to disconnect are actually these two wires that are connected to the steering wheel. I'm assuming this is for the heating, so I don't need to disconnect anything else, thank God. They said to use this included thing, which is definitely too small because the holes are bigger. It might be a regional manufacturing thing that has it slightly different, but just bear in mind that if you're going to be installing one of these yourselves, make sure that you have all the tools on hand. And there you go, this is the same one that I used earlier. So for some reason maybe that tool stripped while I was using it. Okay, cool. There's 3 screws on each side. From what I saw, it just comes off pretty easily after you remove it. Yep, it's coming loose. This whole panel is coming off now. Just make sure you don't lose these screws. This side as well. So you might have to remove these from the casing. Move the wires from where they are clipped in the plastic, because it's hiding the screws, covering the screws. I can put it back and show you. Put it back like that. Just make sure that you tuck all the wires in properly before you put it into the steering wheel, so that they don't move about, cause problems when you're trying to screw everything back in. Okay, so it looks like it's coming loose, and I just need to disconnect this thing that is for the steering wheel. So if you let's turn around. So basically, as you can see, this part is completely loose now, and the only thing connecting it to the car is this wire. And I think it's just let me just remove it by pulling. Okay, wait, I don't want to pull too hard. So this is the other side. Okay, so I'm not sure why it's not coming off that easily. Let me see if I can jam a very small screwdriver head in there to just loosen up the clip. Got this really thin screwdriver on this IKEA head, and basically I just want to release the part that is holding on to this clip, which is on this side. So if I do that, that should pull off. That should release the grip. Oh, there you go. I should have just pulled it. I don't know why I was doing that. There, no, came out quite easily. So this is the hardware that is still on the steering wheel. So all these pieces you want to keep safe, and this is the original steering wheel, which you also want to keep safe when you want to put it back. You know, if you want to sell your car afterwards, take it to the service center. It's better to have the original accessories back on. Fortunately, with Teslas, you don't have to service it very often, so this is not going to be a regular thing. But yeah, it looks like a pretty nice solid steering wheel. It actually feels quite nice. I must say the steering wheel from this generation has been vastly improved. It's just the stitching that I said earlier that isn't very nice. It's weird, but it's nice and small and quite, you know, quite tight. Okay, so now time to reassemble the wheel. And here's the yoke. So let me just show you guys what it'll look like when it's in. So it's basically looking like this, which is very nice. Wow, actually feels very nice. I haven't even driven around with it yet, but yeah, I think it feels pretty cool. Cool, plugs in perfectly. And then these pieces, this thing goes over here where it goes originally on the other steering wheel. You can see it fits very snugly, like fits very well here. Okay, so you want to bring back that plastic harness. Oh, this is actually evidence that these are not buttons, because when you press them there's no feedback because it's off now, but it's actually haptic feedback, but then it moves the panel, so the panel moves a bit. Some of you guys have been arguing with me about that. That is physical buttons, unlike the Model S and Model X, but it is not. It is definitely some. It is definitely not hardware buttons. Okay, there it goes. There it goes in nicely. Put the bracket back on the one side. I think you want to basically route the wire underneath first, because I plugged them in just now and obviously they were in the way. So route them out of the way. Yep, now they're out of the way. I think this thing's a bit malleable because it's a bit soft, but what you want to do is you want to get the right one on. Yep, that looks good. Route these wires through. Then back on. So here's the steering wheel. Here's the nuts for it. Make sure that it's tight, relatively tight, not too tight. You don't want to strip anything. It doesn't have to be super tight. This is just the panel on the steering wheel itself. It wouldn't affect anything if it's not super tight. You actually just don't want to damage it, to be honest. It's actually really well made. Like, there's actually in the plastic bracket there's a space for your screwdriver, so obviously they thought about that as well. Alignment seems a little bit off, but I think it's just because this thing flexes. Okay, cool. Yeah, it's on correctly now. You can see that it's, you know, it fits really snug. Actually fits like it fits right inside. Actually really well made. You can see. Tight but not too tight. Oh, I notice now that this actually moves, so it's quite nice. Put your hand here and then you can actually rotate it like this. I've reassembled everything here. Screwed back everything over here. And then also need to put this piece back on. So this is the 3. So this slots into here, and you put these small screws. Make sure you're gentle and don't strip anything. There's no need to tighten this super tight because this is just a plastic piece that comes out. The only thing that needs to be really tight is actually just the steering wheel onto the steering rack. You don't want your steering wheel coming loose while on the highway. But to be fair, it's not really possible because it's got so many grooves to keep it in place, and you can always push it forward to stay within the rack itself. I have like a meeting in 20 minutes, a work meeting, so I need to just get this stuff done quickly. But do not rush. There's no rush. I mean, I don't need to drive my car anywhere anytime soon right now. So I'm just gonna put these in place. Just make sure they're kind of floats. It seems like it's not supposed to be that tight anyways. I guess this depends on how springy your horn button is, as well as how, I was gonna say as well as how springy. You don't want your airbags to be springy, you want your airbags to be working the correct way. So yeah, I think it's got to do with the springiness of the horn. Trying to get them as tight as my hands can get them, and then I'm just gonna screw them a little bit. So remember, this won't very difficult to screw off. Okay, I'm gonna make it so that there's like enough tension but not too much. You want to maintain some springiness so that this, you know, springs. Cool, and then now I can put this yoke on here. So make sure that this black thing's aligned with this gap over here. And then there's a gap on top here. You actually cannot miss a line, it won't go in. Push it in slowly, shimmy it in. Cool, that looks like it's in. Okay, cool. I'm not gonna actually do anything. I'm gonna turn the car off again. We should put the nuts in first. Okay, so time to put this back. This part that was the most irritating of them all. Okay, so I actually did. It doesn't seem like I need the pull yet. Okay, cool. I think that is definitely tight enough. Okay, plug this in. The buttons come on again. I don't want to turn it off, so you can see that the buttons are still working. Okay, and then these buttons are working perfectly fine. And then I can plug this part back in. You want to gently put it in if you don't want to disturb your neighbors, because you can actually put it in without activating the horn. Okay, so the part that I'm struggling to get right is actually screwing this with the right amount of tension so that I can get this. There's a hole here, you can see. Basically what you actually want is that you want this hole so that when I'm going to push this panel inside far back enough so that the hole lines up. And that's what I've been struggling with. You can see that I scratched it a bit by poking there in the middle of nowhere. So I guess you can see on both sides, like right now this is too far back. So like if I push it, you'll see that there's a hole. Sorry, and it goes on. So obviously I've just pressed the horn now. I don't know if anyone else here has been irritated, but yeah. So otherwise it looks pretty good so far. Wow. Let me align and screw that, and then I'm going to put the horn back. I'll hold the clips in so the horn doesn't push anything in the meanwhile. And basically what's happening is, I didn't know this, I thought that this was the horn module and the airbag, but basically how this works is that this springy part, the part that like, you know, springs back and forth, that has metal contacts, and this grounding thing completes the circuit. So once this thing touches the base of the steering wheel, the horn goes off, because that's obviously the connection for the horn. And I can't seem to get the adjustment right. I don't know if I've tightened it too much now, but I need to tighten it such that there is at least enough space so that the horn can still work, but also I need to put this thing in without it touching. So I've managed to get these holes working, so I can push these clips backwards using the little thing, and just make sure that when you reinstall this, the holes align. But theoretically, if I just push this in, okay, I'll clip that side down perfect. Now I'm going to clip this side. So when I was doing this earlier at the other place, the horn kept going off, just like this. And what's causing the horn to go off there is that doesn't seem to be the place where the horn, or maybe this metal thing is pushing something else, pushing something instead of getting in the hole here. So let me try on this side first. Okay, that's definitely right. Okay, let me try put on the left side in first. Oh, beautiful. There you go. Just try to tug a little bit on it. Check that the horn still works. Beautiful. Now, obviously I'm filming my phone right now, but I've got the test logic, so I can put my phone there as a display. But let's go for a quick drive and see how this new yoke works compared to my previous steering wheel. As you can see, the steering wheel is still here. Okay, so now you can see I have the beautiful foot pedals, brake pedals, and the accelerator pedal, as well as the yoke. Wow, it feels so nice. This Alcantara feels amazing, and it doesn't have the stitching in the back here, so it doesn't, have the scratchy stitching. I have driven with the yoke before, so I am kind of familiar with what it feels like. When doing a full turn, it's a bit awkward, but when you're on the highway, I usually do a 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock hand position, so this is actually perfect. Let's see what it looks like when you get here. Okay, that is a little bit of a push, but I guess you could always push it like this, right? Is it more convenient? I'm not sure. I think this is great, for a highway environment, but now that I'm low speeds and having to turn the wheel quite a bit. Is it annoying? and you just got to make sure that all your buttons are still working. I tested the horn just now, the horn works, all these buttons still work, and as I proved to you guys that these buttons are definitely capacitive, because when you disconnect it, it doesn't do anything. But I'm just going to drive around and see. My sunshade in front is very bright here. Autopilot's not available. Autopilot's working. Scroll wheel works. Does the scroll wheel work? Yes, perfectly fine. Let me try it. I'm just gonna turn it really low. Does that work? Yes, works perfectly fine. All good, yeah, everything works perfectly. Obviously, this is your original Tesla steering wheel, basically. It's just the outer rim that's changed from a wheel to a yoke. Let's take a look to see. I'm going to go on somewhere like a straight road. Actually, yeah, it's actually not that bad. It feels a lot like the Model S. From what I remember, it's a little bit smaller than the Model S. I think this part of the Model S might be a bit wider. That's why they couldn't make it much wider. But yeah, this feels actually very comfortable. You know, some people have said that they wish they could get a yoke on their aftermarket yoke on their Model 3 or whatever, and they said that their legs are too big and this is protruding too much. But compared to the original one, I don't think it protrudes that much more on this model, at least. Yeah, it's only a little bit more. We're gonna be doing I wouldn't say road trip, but like a 2-hour drive later this week. So I'll be able to give you guys a little bit more feedback, and I'll let you guys know how that went on the highway. Yeah, so if you like this video, remember to click the like button, and if you want to get your own yoke or any accessory that I put on my Tesla, this carbon fiber trim, the wheel covers that I showed you in my other video, be sure to use my affiliate code in the description below, Europe in the Tesla, to get it. Sometimes 20, sometimes 25%, depending on the deal that they're having. So just apply the code so that you can get the full discount that you can get, and this will also help me a little bit as a creator as well. So I'm testing out the heating, and it is working. So only the sides get heated. So unlike the original steering wheel, the bottom doesn't seem to have as many heating elements. Maybe it does, maybe it's just taking a bit longer, but it's definitely feeling warm from the side. So the heating definitely still works. That was the two connectors that were on the yoke itself that you need to connect the main module to. So rest assured that you still get heating, especially in a cold area. So don't worry about that. Okay, so this is me testing out the yoke. I'm about to go around a roundabout, and as you can see, I have my Tesla Logic mounted, and it is now completely unobstructed because there's obviously no top part of the yoke. And you can see just about now, there's quite a bit of traffic right now. But if I go across with the yoke, I do need to make sure that I have the one side, so I can't, use the top of the steering wheel. Oh, this scooter almost got in my way. So basically, it is quite easy to use. The bottom part being flat and wider is pretty good, and you can kind of like let go and grab it when it comes back, because it's got quite a big rim compared to the wheel. And it's quite nice because instead of it being round, you can actually see that it comes back to the right place. So here's me getting into another roundabout, and it feels really nice. It feels almost like the charging mat part, the Alcantara and the charging mat part. If you guys are wondering why I am wearing OMP race suit, it's because I am heading to my home track. I do karting at Cabo do Mundo, which is a rental karting track in Perafita here in Porto. And as you can see here, the car is back with Autopilot, with the yoke, and it acts as normal. Looks very similar to the Tesla Model S that I drove earlier this year, and it makes it much easier to nudge the wheel because I can just use one finger and nudge the one side of the top of the yoke. And as you can see, as earlier, the Tesla Logic isn't obstructed, and I can hold the top of both sides. It feels very race car like. Let me know what you guys think. I think the Alcantara feels really good, but if you like the original, they also have original finish on Yeslack. And remember to use my referral code. Thank you for watching my video, and see you guys next time.